Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jai Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Ravanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jai Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Jai Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jai Gaura Nitai. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Stotra Sata Shri Srimad Divine Grace Labai Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namachar Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप श्री मायपुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माँ यमुना माई की जय। वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। The most merciful Lordship Sri Sri Gaunitai, Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan, Sri Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nidai Gaur Premanande, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28, entitled Puranjana Becomes a Woman in the Next Life, text number 62. Aham bhavanna chanyastvam Aham bhavanna chanyastvam Tvamevaham विचक्ष्वभो त्वमेवाहं विचक्ष्वभो ननौ पश्यन्ति कवय ननौ पश्यन्ति कवय छिद्रं जातु मनागपि छिद्रं जातु मनागपि अहं भवान्न चान्यस्त्वं त्वमेवाहं विचक्ष्वभो ननौ पश्यन्ति कवय छिद्रं जातु मनागपि अहं भवान्न चान्यस्त्वं त्वमेवाहं विचक्ष्वभो ननौवाहं विचक्ष्वभो ननौ पश्यन्ति कवय छिद्रं जातु मनागपि. Any Matajis? Aham bhavanna chanyastvam tvavevaham vichakshvabho nanau pashyanti kavaya chidram jatu managapi. Aham, I, bhavan, you, na, not, cha, also, anyaha, different, tvam, you, tvam, you, eva, certainly, aham, as I am, vichakshva, just observe, bho, my dear friend, na, not, now, of us, pashyanti, do observe, kavayaha, learned scholars, chidram, faulty differentiation, jatu, at any time, manak, in a small degree, api, even. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: my dear friend, I, the super soul, and you, the individual soul, are not different in quality, for we are both spiritual. In fact, my dear friend, you are qualitatively not different from me in your constitutional position. Just try to consider this subject. Those who are actually advanced scholars, who are in knowledge, do not find any qualitative difference between you and me. Please repeat. My dear friend, I, the super soul, and you, the individual soul, are not different in quality, for we are both spiritual. In fact, my dear friend, you are qualitatively not different from me in your constitutional position. Just try to consider this subject. Those who are actually advanced scholars, who are in knowledge, do not find any qualitative difference between you and me. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Both the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living entity are qualitatively one. There is no factual difference between the two. The Mayavada philosophers are again and again defeated by the illusory energy because they think that there is no separation between the super soul and the individual soul, or that there is no super soul. They are also misled in thinking that everything is the super soul. However, those who are kavayaha, learned scholars, actually know the facts. They do not commit such mistakes. They know that God and the individual soul are one in quality, but that the individual soul falls under the clutches of Maya, whereas the super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead, is the controller of Maya. Maya, the creation of the Supreme Lord, Maya Shrishta. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is the controller of Maya. Although one in quality with the Supreme Lord, the individual soul is under the control of Maya. Mayavadi philosophers cannot distinguish between the controller and the controlled. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarobhyasya Kripa Sindhubheva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langaite girim yatkrupa tamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarina. So for those who are not regularly hearing the Bhagavatam class, the context is that this Puranjana, in the previous chapter, Puranjana means a person who is living in the 9 gates, body of 9 gates. That is all of us. We are all called Puranjanas. But because Puranjana was too much attached to his wife and he was remembering his wife, so at the time of death he was remembering his wife, so in the next life he became a woman. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajantyante kalevaram. Whatever state of mind you have, whatever you think at the time of death, that's what you become. So then he became a woman. And fortunately, he became the daughter of a king of Vidarbha. So she was also called Vidarbhi. She got married to a very qualified devotee called Malayadhwaja. And all her life she served Malayadhwaja. And Malayadhwaja, while in the Vanaprastha life, he left his body while doing meditation on the Supreme Lord. And then when this lady lost her husband, she was crying piteously, sobbing for the loss of her husband. So one Brahmana came, and who was that Brahmana? He was actually Super Soul, Paramatma. He came in the form of a Brahmana. Then he started speaking to this lady. So this is that whole conversation from last 7-8 verses, how that Brahmana was addressing this lady. So in this verse, today's verse, the Brahmana was addressing this lady. My dear friend, I, the super soul, and you, the individual soul, are different in are not different in quality. For we both are spiritual. In fact, my dear friend, you're qualitatively not different from me in your constitutional position. Just try to consider the subject. Those who are actually advanced scholars, who are in knowledge, do not find any qualitative difference between you and me. So, by virtue of speaking to this lady, the Lord is speaking to all of us. He's saying, my dear friend, He's addressing each one of us. My dear friend, there is no difference between you and me in terms of quality. He's not saying, you and me are absolutely same. Absolutely same means both in quality and quantity. So there is something called quantity. So we and the Lord are not same in quantity, but we are same in quality. God is God and we are godly, not God. We are godly. We can become godly. but we cannot become God. So many examples can be taken. The drop of water in the ocean is qualitatively same as the ocean. That is, it is salty, so the ocean is also salty. But there is a huge difference in quantity. The drop of water is just one drop of water, and oceanic water is so huge that it is incomparably larger. So similarly, we, the individual soul, we are called Anu, and God is called Vibhu. Vibhu means very big. How much big? You cannot compare this with that. How many drops of water can make an ocean? Who can count? How many drops of water can make an ocean? Nobody can count. So, Lord is saying we both are qualitatively one. So that means we can be godly, we can be divine. Right now we are not divine. Right now we are mental. We are not divine, isn't it? Right now our consciousness is diverted to so many unnecessary things. But if we focus our consciousness on Krishna, we accept Krishna as our friend. As Krishna is saying, I am your friend, please accept me. Krishna is asking us, Suhridam Sarvabhutanam, I am your well-wisher, please accept me as your well-wisher. You are thinking everyone else is your well-wisher. Kalatra Dishu, Bhauma, Ijjadi. You are thinking your friends are your family members or other friends, or your body is all in all. Yasyatma buddhik kunape tridhatuke swadik kalatradishu bhauma ijjadi. This is what you are thinking, but actually I'm your friend. Krishna is saying, I'm your friend. Please listen to me, my dear friend. So if we listen to Krishna as our friend, like Arjuna heard from Krishna because they had relationship. The relationship of friendship was there already. But then at the battle of Kurukshetra, Arjuna got bewildered. So when he got bewildered, Arjuna immediately, when Krishna was present, Arjuna could surrender to Krishna. He said, Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. That I am surrendering to you, my dear Krishna, as my spiritual master. Kindly accept me. So then Krishna immediately took charge as a spiritual master. Friendly talk is fine, but if you have to put some sense in other person, the person has to accept you as a superior. Only then you can put some sense. Otherwise, they'll just consider it and leave it. They may not even consider it also sometimes. Friendly advice, who will consider? हमारा तेलंगाना लैंग्वेज में बकता रहता है ना? बकता रहता है. You know what it means? बकता रहता है. Simply कुछ कुछ बोलता रहता है. That is how we take. So most of the time we take Krishna's advice also like that. We try to shut up the inner voice. The inner voice is actually Krishna speaking as Paramatma. Most of the time we try to snub it, shut it up. But here he is speaking very loudly, very strongly. My dear friend, we both are same in quality. So why don't you consider this? Try to understand this subject matter. And not that everyone can understand this. Only Kovidaha. Kovida means those who are very expert can understand the simultaneous oneness and difference between the Lord and the living entity. Simultaneously, they're one and different. And this is proposed or propounded by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. Achintya means inconceivable. Bheda means difference. Abheda means non-difference. So this is the philosophy proposed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the essence of the Vedic literature. So there are different tattvas are there. Mayavada Tattva is called, there is no difference. Vivartavada, it is called. Advaitavada or Vivartavada is Mayavada, philosophers say. And Prabhupada is commenting about the Mayavadis. What they say, either they say that who is there in this body is either soul or super soul, they say. Whichever you try to think, that is what is there. You consider soul is there, soul is there. You consider super soul is there, super soul is there. No, Krishna very categorically said, there are not, there is no one thing. There are two persons are there in this body. Kshetrajñam cha api bhutani. Cha means also. Krishna is saying, I am also staying in your body as Kshetrajña. Kshetrajña means who is the knower of the field. So Krishna was, in 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna was speaking about the Kshetra, Kshetrajña. The name of the chapter is Kshetra, Kshetrajña Vibhaga Yogaha. There is a knower and the field of activity. This body is called field of activity, and there is a knower of the activity is called soul, and there are second knower. The second knower is Krishna as Paramatma. Just like in HMDA, you have a plot, let us say. You know the dimensions of your plot, the sides of your plot, everything. Only you know your plot. But HMDA know everybody's plots. Right? So same way, you're conscious of this body. But there is a super soul who is not only conscious of this body, but everybody's body. And that is Krishna as Paramatma. So that is what is Vaishnava philosophy is. Dvaita, there is Dvaita, Advaita, Vishishta, Advaita. Like this, Vaishnava philosophies are. Advaita is non-Vaishnava philosophy. Advaita, there are no two, everything is one. That is Shankaracharya's proposal, Advaita philosophy. But that is not actually a fact. Shankaracharya misled, purposefully misled on the direction of Krishna. It is not Shankaracharya's fault. Nobody is denouncing Shankaracharya. No. Shankaracharya is a very great devotee of Lord. And by the way, in the end he proposed, Shankaracharya, he said, Nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane. Bhaja govindam, govindam bhaja mudhamate, samprapte, sannihita kale, nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane. Your speculation, you're trying to, trying to break the Sanskrit into the way you like, that is all not going to be helpful at the time of death. What will be helpful is Bhaja Govindam, worship Govinda. Even that the Mayavadis have interpreted in an impersonal manner. Bhaja means this, Go means that, Vindam means this, like this. It has become a habit for them to speculate and try to interpret everything. Not to interpret, you need to have a simple mind. Vedic truths are so wonderful and they're so clear. Suppose if you want to see sun, what do you need? You need any special equipment to see sun? You don't need any special equipment. You just have to have eyes. That's all. If you have eyes, you will be able to see sun. But if you are in a closed room, you put all the windows closed, put all the curtains, you'll only find darkness there. Why? Because you have closed everything. So, what special arrangements you can make to see sun in that situation? There is no special arrangement you can make. All that you have to do is open the doors, open the windows, then sun will come. Similarly, if we open our hearts, we try to open our minds very much. But instead of opening mind, you open your heart. Opening heart means being simple. What is being simple? I am an ignorant person. I don't know much. God is very kind. God is Vibhu. God is Mahan. So I will accept God's mercy open heartedly. That is being simple. You let the mercy of Krishna flow in your heart. Then your heart will be filled with devotion. But heart is closed. Even mercy flows, it will be overflown. Suppose the bucket is not open, bucket is upside down, let us say, and the tap is open. What happens? It just drains. That's all. Not even a drop of water can enter into the bucket. So we have to become Krishna Antarmukha, not Krishna Bahirmukha. Right now, we all have come here with this mentality of Krishna Bahirmukha. Bahirmukha means we have turned our face away from Krishna. If you turn your face away from Krishna, you cannot see Krishna. You can only see the shadow if you turn your face away from Krishna. And let us say you have a friend somewhere. You just say like this, and by the code language, you will understand what you are trying to say. But if he is not your friend, and no matter how much you try to explain to him, they will not try to understand because they have already closed. Sometimes, how many times we use this word? Try to understand, try to understand. Especially between wife and husband, this goes on. Try to understand, try to understand. Isn't it? The husband says, try to understand. Wife says, try to understand. Nobody understands. Nobody understands. Why they don't understand? Because they don't want to understand. They have already having a fighting spirit. And because of their fighting spirit, they are not able to understand. So we have to become favorable to Krishna. When we become favorable to Krishna, then whatever Krishna says, we can understand. It's easy to understand, not very difficult. These Mayavadis are antagonistic to Krishna. They have already made up their mind. They don't want to hear from Krishna. So they have already got a filter. And because of the filter, whatever Krishna says, they try to interpret it in a different way. Krishna is saying the life's goal should be, I am giving you, my dear Arjuna, I am giving you the most important, most confidential instruction, my dear Arjuna. Here, Manmana, always remember me, Madhyaji, worship me, Mam Namaskuru, you offer obeisances to me. Is it very difficult to understand? It's not very difficult to understand. But you see the Mayavadi Bhashya for this, they'll find something else. Sarvadharman Parichajya, you give up everything. Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja, you surrender to me alone. Krishna is saying. And you see the Mayavadi interpretation, don't try to see, by the way. Enough, hearing is enough. Don't go and try to find out. Don't try to, this curiosity is very dangerous. The curiosity of trying to understand the interpretation of the Mayavadi is very dangerous. Then you may be influenced by Mayavada philosophy. It is like man was garlanding Ganeshji. A politician was garlanding Ganeshji. While coming down, he saw the navel of Ganeshji and he was very curious. What is there? This navel, there may be something, and he put his finger in it. There was a scorpion. He stung him. So this curiosity is very dangerous. Don't have that curiosity to understand too much knowledge, reading too many books. Whatever we needed for our understanding and going back to Godhead, Prabhupada has already written in his books. And Prabhupada's books are like sun. They don't need another man explaining them, because Prabhupada wrote the books in such a way that they are self-effulgent. They're self-explanatory. Any common man, Tom, Dick and Harry can understand Prabhupada books if they are not complex. But if they have a prejudiced understanding, already they are contaminated by some Mayavada philosophy, they will not try to understand. They will try to find faults with Prabhupada books. So Prabhupada is making it very simple. He is telling us there is no difference between you and God in quality. You are godly, God is God, you are godly. You are divine, God is divine. Huh? It is said, Nityo Nityanam, Chetanas Chetananam, Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman. This is Svetasvatara Upanishad. Krishna is Nitya, we are also Nitya. Krishna is Chetana, we are Chetana. But one person is maintaining everybody else's desires. Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman. This doesn't require interpretation. It is very straightforward. But those who wanted to find some other meaning, they will try to interpret it with their so-called higher knowledge. They think that, the bhaktas are fools. They don't have knowledge. So that is why they try to throw some more light. This is what Lord Chaitanya was telling Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was giving a 7 day discourse about Vedanta. After 7 days, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was frustrated because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was showing no signs of any, acceptance. He was completely numb. He was not nodding his head, not even otherwise. When somebody is speaking to you, either you will nod your head approvingly or disapprovingly. So he was doing neither. 7 days is like sthanu. So if the audience are like that, speaker doesn't get rasa, isn't it? So that is why Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was not getting rasa. So at the end of 7 days, he said, I have been speaking from 7 days about Vedanta. Do you understand something? You are not even asking any questions. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's response is that I understand everything, but after hearing, my understanding is covered. My actual understanding is covered after hearing from you. Because whatever you are giving is misinterpretation of this Shastra. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. So same way, Mayavadis try to give interpretation to everything. And, and when we hear from Mayavadis, our mind gets spoiled. Our heart gets polluted. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, don't try to hear from Mayavadis. Mayavada bhashya sunile hoy sarvanash. You will become completely be ruined if you hear from Mayavadis. So that is why I'm saying you don't have to go and search, interpretations from Mayavadis. So many Mayavada interpretations are there out there. You don't have to. What actually Mayavada better than Mayavadis if you hear from Prabhupada. It is true. Because Prabhupada has complete understanding of what is Mayavada, what is Vaishnavavada. So it's better to hear from a Vaishnava. So here the Super Soul is saying that, we both are qualitatively one, but quantitatively both are different. Just like a spark of fire. What is the difference between a spark of fire and a huge, unimaginable, huge fire? The difference is that the spark of fire can be put off by little water. You try to put water on the spark, it gets put off. But on the huge fire, you try to put water, it doesn't get extinguished. That's the difference. So God is like that, we are Anu. We can easily be overcome by a higher force called Maya. Whereas Lord is not overcome by Maya because he is the controller of Maya. So that is where the whole understanding lies in. Mayavadis think that there is no God, there is no Jiva, there is no Maya, everything is one. That is what Mayavadis say. If they say like that, the Vaishnavas ask this question, then why are you in an ignorant state? They say that you have forgotten that you are very divine, so that is why you are suffering in this world. Then the Vaishnavas ask this question, if I am already divine and I have forgotten that I am divine, that means there is some energy that is falling on me to make me forget that I am divine. That means there are two things. That is me, another is something which is making me forget that I am divine. There are two. So how can you say there is one? This is Vaishnava's understanding. So Jiva is Anu, the one which covers the Jiva is Maya, and the one who controls both Jiva and Maya is Krishna. So this is a proper understanding of Krishna consciousness. Today, if you find so many so-called scholars, so-called orators, either in TV or in all kinds of YouTube channels, you try to hear from them. After some time, you'll know that they are all Mayavadis, basically. In the beginning, you may not know. The beginning, everybody will be speaking something, simple, something common, general. But as you try to hear, then you will know that these fellows are Mayavadis. Somebody was proclaiming himself to be a Vaishnava in Vrindavan. He was telling Pakka Mayavada philosophy. I was so angry because I did not try to hear. Somebody has sent me a clip. He was telling that there is only one ladder in between you and God. You climb the ladder, you become God. God comes down the ladder, he becomes you. That's all. Ladder is same. समझ में आ गया ना? If you can climb up, you can also climb down, na? That is the logic he was using. So Narayana climbs down and becomes Nara. Nara climbs up the ladder and becomes Narayana. This is called Pakka Mayavada philosophy. Pakka Maya. Why would Narayana come down to Nara's position? What is the need for Narayana to come down? He can extend his hand and pull the Nara. He doesn't have to come down, isn't it? So this simple thing they cannot understand. And by the way, if there are no two things, only one thing is there, that I am divine, but I have forgotten that I am divine. If you have forgotten, then you have forgotten. Because there is no elevating factor for you to come to a divine platform. If there is only one. So in this way, we are not trying to, understand or analyze too much logic. But, Vaishnava Acharyas have given sufficiently that we don't get confused by these Mayavadis. Don't get confused by Mayavadis. They always say that, you and God are same. They have a certain language. Language is called Brahmaikyam. They use the word Brahma Aikyam. Aikyam means merging into Brahman. And devotee feels that merging is equivalent to going to hell. Kaivalyam narakayate. Kaivalyam means merging. Devotee doesn't want to merge in God's existence. He wants to serve God. Suppose, if you become me, how can you serve me? You will take all the offerings. By merging into me, you take all the offerings. You don't give offerings. You take offerings, isn't it? So simple logic it is. Similarly, you try to become God, then you become a supreme enjoyer. You think that you are merged into supreme enjoyer, and now you are entitled for supreme enjoyment. But if you try to be away from God, make some distance, so much distance to offer service. Don't try to climb upon God and try to be God. Become Lord's servant, because that is your constitutional position. It is said, constitutionally both are same. But constitutionally both are different in terms of quantity or size. So this is Vaishnava philosophy. A servant will never want to enjoy. It's not that for some time I will be servant and then after that I will become master. This is a very dirty mentality. You are serving your guru and then while serving only you are thinking, मेरा टर्न भी आएगा, मैं भी गुरु बन जाता हूं, मैं भी आसन में बैठता हूं. वेट, तुम तो 10 साल लिया है, मैं तो 5 साल में हो जाता हूं. Isn't it? This is the mentality. This is called Mayavada mentality. A servant wants to always serve. And by the way, if you don't know God is servant or not, God is the supreme servant. He serves everyone. In fact, that is how we got the mode of service from God. Because God is supremely serving and we are part and parcel of God. So we have that ability to serve from God. But God can be simultaneously both. What? He can serve and he can enjoy. But his enjoyment is also service. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suratam sarvabhutanam jnatva mam shanti mruchati. So don't try to take this double role. Double role is very confusing. I'm telling you. Only God can do the double role. We should only play single role. Our single role is I am servant. Servant of the 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 servant. That is our role. We are not so great that we can play the double role very expertly. Then one of the role will be screwed up. Either servant role will be screwed up or enjoyer role will be screwed up. So better we stick to our role. Our role is always a servant. Constitutionally we are servants. So we never think that we can become God. After meditation, after doing so much service, I will also become God. We have one donor who comes to our temple. He says, in a very funny manner, he says, suppose, some people, when they give donation, they expect some special treatment and all that. This man is quite, he's not very much happy with that kind of thing. So, अपना भाषा में बोलता है, क्या डोनेशन दिए तो भगवान के पास में बिठाएगा तुमको? हाँ? You want that, you want to stand next to God and being worshipped just because you gave some donation? बाजू हट जा, दे दिया ना, हट जा. This mentality is there, that I am servant. Because I am servant, I should also be placed in the altar. This is dangerous, because I am servant. And you may say, why some of the jivas are also in the altar? Acharyas are there. They are also jivas. They are in the altar. Not everyone can become acharya. Not everyone can become acharya. And they are there not to enjoy, but to pass on. You are worshipping Krishna, but you are worshipping Krishna through acharyas, because you cannot directly reach Krishna. So you need a media, via media, to let your offerings go to Krishna. So the via media are the acharyas. So that is why they have to be there. So this is a basic philosophy, that basic understanding we should have. That is, I am not God, but I am godly. So if I simply connect with myself with God, I will become godly. Iron can never become fire, but iron can become fiery. Right? If there is a flame and you put iron in the flame, then what happens? After some time, the iron becomes red hot. It acts like fire. But its constitutional nature is not always red hot. Its constitutional nature is always iron is iron. So that is why in the 15th chapter, I'll conclude, don't worry, time up, I know. I mean, if you declare, पहले only declare करे तो शांति में रह सकते हैं ना. 5 मिनट में हो जाएगा. ठीक है? Kshara, Akshara. Kshara means one who can fall. Akshara means one who cannot fall. So Jiva comes under the category of Kshara and Lord comes under the category of Akshara. This Akshara, even though he may take the position of a servant of Akshara, he will not become Kshara. He will remain Akshara. That is why Arjuna said to Krishna, Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Radam Stapayame Achyuta. O Krishna, although I am ordering you to drive the chariot in between the two parties, but you always remain Achyuta. Achyuta means you never fall from your original position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even though I am trying to order you, I will always remain your servant. So this the Jiva should never forget. He is always Kshara and Krishna is Akshara. That means we can always fall. Even if you go to Vaikuntha, if you are still not connected with Krishna, there is a possibility to fall. That is how we fell. We fell from Vaikuntha. We could not, we did not take the full advantage of the Vaikuntha atmosphere. We tried to compare ourselves with Krishna. We fell down. So same way, anytime, no matter how big you become, big acharya, whatever it is, if you don't place yourself at the lotus feet of Krishna, you will fall. One example and then we'll close. The example is of that of Prabhupada. Prabhupada was one day, he was humorously speaking, there was a private conversation in a room with his disciples, and Prabhupada asked a question, what is the difference between you and me? They said different things. You are Acharya and we are your disciples, your Guru, we are disciples. So many things they said. And Prabhupada said, yes, that's all correct. But the difference between you and me is that I will not fall, you will fall. This is what he said. They were very happy. They said, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Of course, the one who rescues you should never fall, isn't it? That is why they were happy to hear the Jai Prabhupada. So next day, Prabhupada, after finishing morning walk, he came to the temple and he was, while the Govindam prayers were going on, he was very fervently he was praying to Krishna like this. One of the disciples who was there in the previous day conversation, he was very closely observing Prabhupada's, and then after the prayer is over, he came to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, yesterday only you said you will never fall. What was the prayer that you are offering to Krishna? Very, very fervently you are offering. And Prabhupada said, I offered this prayer to Krishna. My dear Krishna, I am very insignificant and low. Kindly protect me. Let me never fall. Please protect me from falling down. So this disciple said, yesterday only you said you will never fall. Prabhupada said, that is why I never fall. That is why means what? I every day always pray to Krishna to protect me from falling down. That's why I don't fall. There is a significant lesson that we can learn from this. That is, even though he's a great acharya, he can say openly that I don't fall, you fall. He says that by being always in Krishna consciousness, I will never fall. So it's not independent of Krishna, we are very powerful, we will not fall. We are by constitution, we are Kshara. Kshara means you can fall. Without shelter of Krishna, we will fall. No doubt about it. So this difference has to be understood. So these verses help us to make that clarity, to give us that clarity. Lord, in the form of Paramatma, is giving such clarity. So I'll close here. Anyone has any question? Yes. After this.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sometimes one of my friends say that Krishna did lot of tapasya, that's why he became Krishna. That's why I get very angry, like how to react. Like,
Don't become
I'm
angry.
like,
By becoming angry, they think that you are a fool. Only fools become angry, in fact. Prabhupada said, what did they say? Because Krishna did tapasya. That's why he became Krishna. Prabhupada said differently. Krishna was Krishna right from the beginning. As soon as he was born, when the Putana demon came, he sucked the blood, he sucked the pranavayu along with the milk, along with the visha, the poison that she applied on the breast. Krishna as Sakatasura, when he was just placed on the cradle ceremony was done, there was one big demon came, Sakatasura. And Krishna gave one kick. Sakatasura was killed. Any ordinary man can do that. What tapasya? Okay, you do tapasya and be like that. What tapasya will enable you to hold Govardhan Parvat with a little finger? These scientists will say center of gravity, this and that nonsense. Okay, you show the center of gravity, na? Here. You will get this. You will not be able to lift. You will get this. Isn't it? So for the sake of saying, people say so many useless things. When it comes to actual practice, they can't do it. So these people, for the sake of argument, they say so many things. Just to extract some kind of juice from us. We should not fall for them. Even if they say you are fool, accept it. I am a fool. Thank you very much. Go away. It's like a slap on their face. You try to argue with them, and especially when you don't have sufficient knowledge to argue with them, they will think that Krishna consciousness is not a right philosophy. We should not try to argue. By our action, by our behavior, they should know that these people are much higher in consciousness than us. They will not unnecessarily come into argumentation. Mayavadis, you know how to identify a Mayavadi? This is the symptom of a Mayavadi. What? They always argue. They always argue. They will never agree. They will always argue. This is what is the symptom of a Mayavadi. Is that all right? Yes.
Why Shankaracharya told the whole is filled with one?
Why Shankaracharya told?
The whole is filled with whole world is filled with only one God. Oh, by Krishna purpose.
Shankaracharya gave it has a context. Before Shankaracharya came, this world was influenced by Buddhism. Buddhists do not accept Vedic knowledge. They reject the Vedas. They say, ahimso paramo dharma. That's all. Non-violence is their only principle. Gandhi. Gandhi is a follower. Non-violence. That is why independence has delayed, because of non-violence. Otherwise, it would have come long back. Although people think that, he brought independence, he brought delayed independence because of so-called non-violence. Anyway, so the point is that Buddhists, they propose theory called Buddhism or Sunyavada, which is not based on Vedas. God has given Vedas for us to lead a life. And if you reject Vedas, there is no life. It's all illusory life. So that is why Shankaracharya came to re-establish Vedas from the influence of Buddhism. And it has to be almost similar. That is Sunyavada, this is Mayavada. But he brought Mayavada based on Vedas. So that means he has done one great service. What is that great service? He has brought you into Vedic purview. These Buddhists were not in Vedic purview. He brought into Vedic purview. पहले घर में आ जाने के बाद कुछ ना कुछ सेटल करेंगे. बाहर क्या सेटल करेंगे? तो घर में आ जाओ. You understand? घर में आ जाना मतलब क्या है? Taking the Vedas into consideration. Then we will argue out what is the actual meaning of the Vedas and all. Later on Vaishnavism was built by Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarka, Vishnu Swami, great Vaishnavacharyas came, and finally Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and established the Vaishnava Tattva. But one great service that Shankaracharya did was that he brought the Vedas back, which were rejected by the Veda Bhumi, that is India. Vedas were born in India, but Indians have rejected Vedic knowledge because of the influence of Buddha.
So it was purposefully made by Lord.
It was purposeful, yes, because he's a devotee. He's a purposeful. He in fact, there was a verse in Padma Purana which says that a great Brahmana will come and he will preach Mayavada philosophy. Mayavadam asat shastram. Mayavada is actually not proper shastra, but prachannam bauddhamanvitam. Prachanna means to cut Buddha philosophy. A Brahmana will come sent by Krishna in the form of Shankaracharya. So this is already predicted. All right? Anything else?
Hare Krishna.
Who is that? Give the mic. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Buddha is also incarnation of Lord, na? So that
Huh?
why
Who? Buddha is also.
in 10 avatar Buddha is also one of the like that
Oh,
saying.
why did he mislead people?
Yes, yes,
Buddha.
yes.
God can do any magic temporarily. There was another history because of which Buddha has to do what he did. What was the history? These fellows, they were left and right, they were killing animals in the name of animal sacrifice. They were not following all the rules which are mentioned in the scripture, but they were sacrificing animals mercilessly. So Buddha had to come, and temporarily he had to establish a theory called Sunyavad, reject the Vedas, because in the name of Vedas they are killing. They are killing and they are saying sacrifice. कोई निर्जल फास्टिंग कर रहा है लेकिन आचमन पूरा ले रहा है, ऐसे आचमन ले रहा है. क्या कर रहे हो? आचमन ले रहा हूं. आचमन ले रहे हो? क्या आचमन ले रहे हो? That day is a nirjal fasting, but this fellow is drinking water in the name of Achman. You understand, no? This is the mentality. All of us have this kind of mentality. कहीं पे कुछ litigation है तो उसमें घुस जाना. तो वैसे these people were killing animals left and right in the name of animal sacrifice, which is mentioned in the scripture. So Lord has to come and say, get out of this. This is nonsense. Reject the Vedas. But the same Lord has sent his devotees. So it's a plan of the Lord. Lord can do, Lord sent his servant Jesus Christ. Lord has sent his servant Muhammad, whoever have influenced a certain section of people who are very much downtrodden, to uplift them to a better state of consciousness. Lord's servants will come. But that is not the ultimate. The ultimate is what is the essence of the scripture. Vedaisha sarvair ahameva vedyo vedanta krut veda videva chaha. All right? Anything else? Yes, Mataji, give one the mic, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the very enlivening class, Prabhu. In the class, we're talking about how the super soul is talking to the soul and saying that we are both the same in quality, we have a relationship. So on those lines, right now, at least mine, many of our relationship with Krishna is not so much developed. We're trying to develop our relationship with Krishna. In this situation, especially when we are affected with illness, when we get very sick, then we're kind of bogged down by the bodily discomfort, and we're not able to connect to Krishna. I'm not able to connect to Krishna in that situation, and not having much devotee association at that time, and the relationship with the Lord is not so much developed. So I kind of feel cut off or isolated, not able to connect. So what can I do at such a time?
Not able to connect is not the solution. We have to connect. Find a way to connect. You have to find a way to connect. You cannot resign saying that, I am bogged down by bodily discomfort, or I am bogged down by this and that and that. Lord is so merciful. He has given millions of ways to connect with him. Why don't we find one way or the other to connect with him? And the easiest way to connect, if nobody is there, the easiest way to connect is by chanting Hare Krishna. Prabhupada emphatically said this. Two times he said two things. One time he said that, one day there may not be temples. One day there may not be devotees, but my books will always be there, he said. Another time Prabhupada said, One day there may not be temples, there may not be devotees, there may not be even books. But what will be there? And then he put his hand in the bead bag and he said, chanting will always be there. Krishna's name will always be there. Nobody can steal away Krishna's name from you. Krishna is easily available himself through his name. The magic is that no matter how fallen state we are in, loudly chant once Krishna's name. You'll immediately find some spirit, immediately find some hope. Don't worry about what people will think if I chant loudly. Just go to the top of your house. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. On top of your voice, you chant Hare Krishna. I bet you will get hope. You'll definitely get hope. Because that is how Lord has said that He is Himself available through the holy name. And if we lose that conviction, we have covered ourselves to be visible to God. Let's not lose that conviction. And I can tell you, I know you very well, and I can tell you, this is not the only way. If you really want, you can have multiple ways to connect. You have those ways available to you. Every one of us have those ways available to us to connect to God. It's not that we are so underprivileged and we are so much covered that we cannot look at God. Sorry if I've hurt you in any way.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. No, not
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All right. Thank you all very much. Already it is 9:33. We have other things to go. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samveta Gaura Bhakti